My name is Gary Holland. I'm from Chalmette, Louisiana. We're just south of New Orleans, St. Bernard Parish, right across the river from Plaquemines Parish. We're facing and have faced since April 20th one of the most horrific environmental catastrophes on the face of the earth, and certainly the worst man-made environmental catastrophe in man's history. There's been a gushing geyser of oil, crude oil, emanating from a mile below the surface of the Gulf of Mexico since April 20th. And no one has stepped forward with any sort of leadership except the local and some state officials to try to get a handle on this thing and keep this oil from coming into the Louisiana marshes and coastline and estuaries. We don't have sugar sand beaches or beaches hardly at all make up our coastline. Our coastline is more like a sponge, full of backwater bays and bayous and estuaries, and this couldn't have happened at a worse time. All the little critters are spawning now. The fish are spawning, the birds are laying their eggs, the reptiles are laying their eggs. Snakes, turtles, alligators, egrets, blue herons, warblers, you name it, are all back in the marsh. Every kind of fish, everything from a blue tuna to a redfish to a marlin to a croaker, have all spawned in those estuaries, and they hide back there till they're big enough to get out into the open ocean and grow to become sport and game fish or food fish for others to harvest. But they have to start somewhere, and they start in our wetlands. Ever since the end of the Civil War, we've been losing our wetlands. Ever since the Mississippi River was turned into a gigantic drainage ditch and staunched the flow of fresh sediment to our wetlands and our marshes and swamps, we've been losing land mass. We used to gain land mass prior to that. Then the oil embargo happened in the 70s. And again, here it was the oil companies again that carved up the wetlands and paid off the governor, and they were to close up the mouths of the the channels with earthen berms, and that all eroded in a couple of years, and now you've got saltwater inundation killing all the cypress swamps. And that cypress swamp is an ecosystem in and of itself. It supports a myriad of flora and fauna of the marsh. It's the pillar of the marsh, and you lose it, you lose just species. And now it's all Russo cane grass, and all that's being inundated with this crude oil. And they're spraying dispersant on it at the source. Now, dispersant, some people have said, is just like Dawn dish detergent, but no, it's more like antifreeze. So do some research, America. Please give this thing a hit or two. Listen to what I'm saying. Do some research on your own. I implore you. I beg you to do it. And then, Mr. President, I want you to look at your little daughter's eyes, whichever one asked you about the hole. Have you plugged the hole yet, Daddy? Well, there's too many innuendos for that for me to jump on, because I talk about a hole, all right. Your pie hole. Your pie hole's been flapping, and you're saying the buck stops with you? Well, let me tell you, the buck's gone right through you. And what buck? The BP buck? Is that who you get? I mean, is that where the money's going to? Because it's sure not going down to South Louisiana, Plaquemines Parish, St. Bernard Parish, where it's needed the most right now. Shame on you, Mr. President. It's pathetic. And you're killing the culture. Maybe you don't care about South Louisiana and our little pocket of Cajun coon-ass couillons and this one and that one that knows everybody else. We all know each other. We're all friends. We all love music, good times, good food. But we don't have a big constituency, and we don't have a lot of clout when it comes to politics. Maybe that's it. I don't know. But I'm ashamed of you. America won't stand. America's got to know, and got to know that there's good people that are lost their way of life. It's already happened. I don't know what you do now. How do you fix this? Well, you rebuild the barrier islands. You divert the river and let it flood the marshlands again and wash out the salt water and resedimenting all those wetlands. And let's start building the marsh again and start building the barrier islands again with dredges and sediment, with pipelines, sending that sediment out there to rebuild them where, as nature had planned. That's a start. But you have to do it, and you have to do it now. Yesterday. A month ago would have been good. Don't make me have to say 2 months ago. I'm out. I'll be back. Believe me.